I've learned that showing your true emotions to those who don't value you backfires. And trust me, I've been there. I had no choice but to become stoic and go no contact to protect myself and my mental health. I strongly suggest you do the same thing. It's not always just about walking away. It's about cutting ties with the quickness and leaving those who hurt you in the dust where they belong. The answer is this: it's being stoic, not just in the philosophical sense, but in a way that leaves them clutching at air, wondering why they no longer have the power to affect you any longer. See, when you suddenly go no contact, something happens. Something oddly beautiful. I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. Look, the toxic people who once thrived on your reactions, who fed off your emotional turmoil, your empathy, and your ability to give a damn, are left scrambling. They can't read you anymore like they used to. They can't predict your next move. There is no next move. Now, that is the next move. Stay with me. I'm going to lay it out for you so you can understand this game. What you've done is you've taken a chessboard and burned it. Now, all they have left is confusion and frustration, and the only thing they can control is their own madness. It's a masterpiece of quiet revenge, a dark, almost poetic form of retaliation. You're going to learn how important it is to pull your energy back from those who misused it, because the moment you decide to go no contact, you become a ghost. And the most terrifying thing for a toxic person is not knowing where you are, what you're doing, or how you feel. You're going to become stoic first and a ghost second. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, manipulator, or anyone who thrives on chaos, you know that they love control. They thrive on reading you. They need to know how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and how to get under your skin. They're addicted to the emotional chaos they create, and they've become experts at pulling your strings. They'll say whatever it takes to get a rise out of you. They'll throw insults, gaslight, guilt trip, and even beg for your attention. And for a while, you might have given in. Maybe you fought back. Maybe you tried to reason with them, like haven't we all? Maybe you thought you could outsmart them in their own game. But here's the thing, the game was rigged from the start, but they left the rules of the game laid out on the table for you to see. They're not as smart as you think, you know? They forgot about the most important rule: silence. You see, the real power lies in silence. When you go no contact, you stop playing the game. You stop feeding their addiction. You take yourself off their radar and remove the only thing that ever mattered to them: your attention. When you become stoic, you stop responding to their attempts to provoke you. No more getting sucked into endless, draining arguments. No more late-night texts or guilt-ridden phone calls. No more answering questions you know are meant to manipulate you into giving a little more of yourself than you have left to give while they try to make you become a shell of yourself. You stand there emotionally detached, cold, and totally unbothered. My friends, that is when you start to realize the true power of going no contact. Because nothing confuses a toxic person more than silence. Nothing drives them more insane than realizing that they can no longer predict your next move. Listen, they really think that they can still control you while you've activated the no contact switch. They've spent months, years, or even decades learning how to pull you into their world, how to twist your emotions, how to make you dance to their tune. But here's the dirty secret: they were never in control of you. You just let them think they were. Oh, they made a big damn mistake. The moment you decide to cut ties, to go no contact, to shut the door, you strip them of their greatest weapon: your emotional responses. They can't read your face anymore. They can't predict what you'll do next. They no longer have the luxury of knowing whether you're angry, sad, happy, or indifferent. You've taken the mask of emotion off, and in its place is a cold, impenetrable wall of silence. For the manipulator, this is an unthinkable loss. They thought they could always know what buttons to push, that they could predict your every move. Now, suddenly, they can't. It's like they're looking at a blank page, wondering where their script went. They try every trick in the book, spamming your phone with text messages, sending cryptic social media posts, trying to make you jealous, even sending people to talk to you on their behalf. But nothing works. They send a text. You don't respond. They call. You don't pick up. They leave a message. It's unread, unheard. You've become a shadow, a figure they can no longer touch. and they start to lose their mind. If you truly wonder if no contact works, trust me, based on my personal experiences, it does. The very thing they relied on for their emotional sustenance, your reactions, has been taken away from them. They have no power, and they know it. The insidious madness of silence, what they don't realize at first, is that silence drives them insane. It's a slow burn, a creeping madness that consumes them from the inside. At first, they'll try to convince themselves that you're just playing games or acting childish. They'll tell themselves that you're too stubborn to respond, that you're just being difficult. But as time stretches on, that excuse begins to lose its luster. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. The silence is deafening, and it begins to crack the fragile facade they've built. They begin to wonder, why hasn't she responded? What is he doing? Why is she ignoring me? It gnaws at them. The longer the silence lasts, the more it wears them down. They realize that they don't know anything about you anymore. They can't predict your next step, your next word, or your next thought. And that is when the real unraveling begins. Because no matter how much they pretend to be in control, deep down, they are terrified of not knowing what you're thinking. It freaks them the hell out. They will look at you with their eyes wide open, trying to detect a crack in your armor. They will even squint their eyes trying to see if you would break character. But we don't, because this time we came prepared, honey. The only thing worse than being ignored is the fear of being forgotten. And that's exactly what happens when you go no contact. They don't just lose access to you. They lose the ability to influence you, to affect you, to determine your emotional state. They lose their sense of importance in your life. They become irrelevant. They are nothing, nada, niente. This is where it gets good. This is where the vengeance comes into play. Because nothing destroys a toxic person more than realizing that they are no longer relevant to you. Nothing hurts more than the realization that they've lost their grip on you, and they will never ever get it back. Toxic people thrive on certainty. They like to know where they stand. They like to know what buttons to push. They like to know how you'll react when they do X, Y, or Z. They want to feel like they have the upper hand. But when you cut them off completely, you take away that certainty. They're left in a place of perpetual uncertainty. What happens next? Who knows? Are you happy? Are you angry? Are you seeing someone else? Did you finally realize that you were worth more than their crap? The toxic person starts to spiral into a frenzy of what ifs and maybes. They become obsessed with trying to figure you out again. But here's the juicy part. They can't. The longer the silence goes on, the more irrational they become. They start making up stories in their heads. They'll tell themselves that you're just playing hard to get, or maybe they'll convince themselves that you found someone else. They might even try to triangulate your friends or family members to gather information. But it's a damn waste of their energy, because you've become a moving target. You've removed yourself from the game entirely. And when they realize this, when they understand that their predictions about you were nothing more than educated guesses, they begin to lose their grip on reality. They'll doubt everything they thought they knew about you, and they'll be forced to confront their own incompetence. So, if you're struggling to stay no contact, allow me to explain to you why you have to do this in order to get off the roller coaster you're on. The beauty of going no contact and staying stoic is that you no longer give them the emotional ammunition they used to weaponize against you. You become a blank slate, emotionally detached, neutral, impenetrable. And the moment you achieve this emotional detachment, you gain something priceless: power. Toxic people are not used to being ignored, let alone forgotten. They live for the drama, the chaos, the emotional exchanges, and the control. When you cut that off, you take away the one thing they crave. They cannot stand it. They'll lash out, make stupid threats, cry for attention, and will do everything in their power to get a reaction. But none of it will work. Their power is gone and they know it. And you know what's even better? They can't do a damn thing about it. They will never know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or what your next move is. And that uncertainty, that confusion, that lack of control goes right along with them for as long as they live. And you'll be long gone, somewhere far away from their toxic reach, thriving in your peace. And let me tell you that peace, That good night rest, that feeling of actually being safe in your own skin again, is worth more than anything in this world. You got your sense of self back. There's nothing more deliciously satisfying than knowing that you showed them that they picked on the wrong one. Your ability to go no contact isn't just about cutting someone out of your life. It's about taking back your life and regaining all the energy back you gave them. You got your light back to fill up your soul again. This is about reclaiming your peace and taking the emotional reins back from someone who never deserved to hold them in the first place. In the end, the real revenge is not in confrontation, not in words or fights. It's in your ability to practice emotional control and silence. Now that you are completely detached from their grip, you have space to turn the pain they've caused into success and to thrive. And remember, it's okay to be painted as a villain as long as we know in our spirit that we are a true hero in our own story. Now, go back into the world with your chest up and your head held high, okay?